Durango's new city manager has spent his first 6 months on the job meeting people, crafting a strategic master plan, and coordinating $800,000 of COVID relief for local businesses. And that's not all. You're watching the Local News Network, brought to you by Tafoya Barrett and Associates and the Payroll Department. I'm Wendy Graham Settle. When we asked new Durango City Manager Jose Madrigal how his wife would describe him, he laughed.
Very happy, very optimistic, positive, and loves to socially engage. Those would be kind of who I am. I don't get down on myself too much. I don't get down on failures or times where we, stomp our feet or we go through. It's always about the next and moving on, and always looking at that future goal.
And Madrigal certainly has been socially engaged since he arrived in September to succeed former city mayor Ron LeBlanc, who resigned last spring in the midst of controversy over a more stringent performance evaluation proposed by a new city council. Madrigal's meetings with a broad range of constituents are one of several strategies he has set to reestablish trust and transparency in city government.
And I know that even when I looked at my calendar, everyone was like, wow, that's you've got 6 hours a day of just kind of meeting with people in the community. And I knew it was important. It was something that was very well ingrained into me during the interview process, and a part of a challenge yet an opportunity of really establishing that trust. And the biggest way that you can do that is be part of the community and be out in the community. So every moment that I can, I am taking in new meetings, meeting with people, talking about their issues, talking about what their concerns were, and beginning to make piece by piece, slowly rebuilding that transparency, rebuilding that portion. And it really does start with making those introductions, talking about who we are, and when that call comes in for assistance, being there to help out.
Madrigal grew up in Austin, Texas, and attended Texas Tech University, where he completed a bachelor's degree in political science and master's degree in public administration. He has 17 years of municipal government experience in Central Texas, with 13 of those in executive leadership positions that included all facets of city management, from public safety to public works to finance and communications. In addition to his community outreach efforts, Madrigal coordinated an $800,000 COVID relief package for city businesses, and he led the effort to develop a strategic plan to address some of Durango's most pressing problems.
So I think right now the biggest challenge, the biggest I think issue that we hear about all the time can be summed up with affordability. That is what we're hearing from the residents. We just went through our strategic planning process, and it was affordability, affordable slash attainable housing. So an ability to grab a house and purchase a house, even for those that are making a working wage here. And I think that's the biggest part and the challenge that we'll have, is how do we solve that issue to where we can kind of make Durango that multi-generational place where kids can come back and live, where we can continue to go through, and it doesn't get to that portion to where it's such an expensive place to live that we end up losing a lot of that local charm that we have here in the community.
Madrigal said the strategic plan also identified homelessness as a priority, but it won't be solved easily. Nevertheless, the city and La Plata County took a giant cooperative step forward this winter when it approved funding for a homeless navigation program at Manna Soup Kitchen and formed a management level task force to ensure some progress. The task force includes both city and county managers, attorneys, a commissioner, and city councilor.
Will there be a solution next year? Probably not, but I will say that I think we're getting progress to where we're making small continued steps to making to that big solution at the end.
Madrigal admits that rebuilding the community's trust in city government will take more than a few handshakes. It will take transparency, setting clear and measurable goals, and accountability for meeting those goals through the strategic plan.
That's the biggest part of what is my management style, is that we're going to be strategic. We're going to hit the goals that the community has outlined through the council. We're going to show our progress within the projects. We're going to report back. We're going to let the citizens know, hey, this is where our work is. We're doing OpenGov right now, which is a really cool tool that I've used that's going to open up our financials, where anybody can jump on at any time and take a look at what we spend on our budget, where we're at on our budget, what we spend to our check register, begin opening it up to where people can come in and take a look and see that we're open, we're transparent, what we're doing, why we're doing it. May not agree, but at least you know why, and then you'll know the results of where we're coming from on it.
Madrigal and his wife Meredith have a blended family of 5 children. To learn more about the changes that Madrigal hopes to bring to city government, visit durangogov.org. Thanks for watching this edition of the Local News Network. Be sure to stay on top of our latest news stories on Twitter and Instagram, or listen to us on your favorite podcast app. I'm Wendy Graham Settle.